has never seen before, okay? Star Rock Nationals, we have never had the magnitude of this many vehicles in one location in the history of this county, okay? It's never been done before. And we are the LaSalle County Streetcars. We not even a year and a half old yet, okay? If you guys have seen some of our videos, we know, you guys know we like to do a lot of things and we give a lot of things back to the community. What we did alone for the kids at Christmas, if you guys are a part of that, give yourselves a round of applause right now, okay? We helped over 31 kids at Christmas last year, okay? In addition to that, you guys hear about the Dawson Mustang Project. You guys know about that? Guys, check out our Facebook page, the Dawson Mustang Project. Young man by the name of Dawson is restoring an old 1964, 65, 60, 68, 1968 Ford Mustang. Him and his dad are going to get parts. His dad dies of a heart attack while they're going to get parts for the car. LaSalle County Streetcars felt bad about that. We took the thing on our own shoulders. We are completely restoring that car. So after this event is over, you're going to see a lot of plugs about the LaSalle County Streetcars and the Dawson Mustang Project, okay? It's a very, very good cause. Very outstanding young man, okay? Some of you guys have heard about the Drew French cruise. Is anybody remember the burnouts in Naples? Good. Let's hope everybody forgot about those because they haven't forgotten about them yet, okay? We're still having conversations and emails on that one, okay? Guys, I'm not saying this to brag on all the stuff we did. We want you to come join us, okay? Come, when you see something posted on the LaSalle County Streetcars Facebook page, come join us because we are doing a lot of cool stuff, okay? We do cruise nights and car shows and we do a lot of just cruising events where we just get in the cars and we go, okay? That's what we are, all right? Some of my best friends on the planet are because of the LaSalle County Streetcars, and I've only known some of these guys for less than a year. It's absolutely outstanding. I want to give a round of applause to all of these people right here. A lot of these are executive board directors. Too many names again. Here's our president, Mr. Joe Rose, right over here. I got our vice president, Darren Bragg, executive officer, Eric Herrero. You've seen their faces all over our Facebook page. Two big shout outs, and again, there's so many people I want to thank, but those two gentlemen in the orange shirts right there, Brian Croxton, raise your hand, and then Jason Jarls, raise your hand. Yeah, right, the big guy. Without those guys, this event does not go off in a host. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second. We're going to honor these guys, but I want you guys to hear from the man who's actually got some more brain power than me.
Guys, this stuff cannot happen without this guy right here. Let's give it up for Dominic Graham! Woo! Outstanding!
Oh, outstanding. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Guys, look at this. Car show's going on. We still got cars rolling. This is absolutely outstanding. Okay. All right, so a couple of years ago, when I mean a couple of years ago, this was quite a few years ago. When I was much younger, and yes, believe it or not, much thinner, I got to meet a man that lived up in the Deer Park, Illinois area, which isn't all that far from here, okay? And him and I hit it off. I was actually friends with his brother in high school, and this young man went into the... Where's Mr. Mix at? Come on up here. Here he is, right here. And I want you guys to understand, you know, we are doing this, you know, the LaSalle County Streetcars, in case you guys don't know, we are a non-for-profit organization. Every single thing that we do for this event, all of our profits are going to two different things. They're going to the LaSalle County Streetcars Philanthropic Fund, mostly to help those kids at Christmas, okay? And the second thing is we're going and giving back to the Folds of Honor. And if you guys don't know what the Folds of Honor is, it's a fundraising activity that is designed to develop college scholarships for the children of fallen war heroes, okay? And so henceforth, we're doing this, and so this was a big deal for us to get together with the military. Last year's show was first responders because a lot of people were really pooping on the first responders last year, and we were honored to bring them up to the level that they absolutely deserve to be put on. This year was hands down, it was the military. So when we were sitting around, we were talking about who we wanted to honor for this. It was a big deal that we reached out to this guy right here because I want you to tell him your name, where you're from, and where you served, and kind of a little bit of what you served.
Tracy Mix. Growing up in the Ottawa area, LaSalle my whole life. Basically, I live in Utica, Illinois. We run Jamie's Outpost right now, and I've been all over. I started National Guard, then went active duty. I served in Iraq. Been all over the United States, traveling for about 24 years total service. I was still in up until 2019, and I finally retired. So now I'm back here in my hometown, and just want to give back to the community. And
not only that, but your son is now also serving, correct?
Yes, my son's
okay.
Military, yeah.
And his son was supposed to be here today. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, okay? And so Mom gave him a free pass because I'm not arguing with Mom, all right? And so, sir, thank you for everything that you did for us, okay? We go way back, but this is not just because we're friends. This is because this is what you deserve to do. So Eric Rowe and the LaSalle Country Cars, we want to thank you for your service to the United States of America. And right behind you, absolutely.
Got him all right? Okay.
I'm used to these photo sessions. Guys, I've been around the paparazzi my whole life, all right? So, guys, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Mix again. Let's give him a round of applause. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, there's one other person we kind of want to recognize today. And again, how often do we see that these people that go into the military, they take those military values and they are so honored by them that they teach their children, and then their children follow in their footsteps. That is an absolute prime example of that, and I'm very honored by that, okay? But wait, there's more. We have another father-son duo, all right? So last October, if you were on our cruise for Mr. Hanselman last year, raise your hand. There was a gentleman that turned 100 years old last year, okay? He was a World War II glider person. Now, let me tell you what, I heard he was a glider person. That's exactly how it was described to me. I had no clue. I didn't even know gliders were in existence back in those days. Let me kind of explain to you guys what gliders were used for in World War II. If you guys know what a glider is, a glider goes up in the air. It has no motor. It's basically an airplane that's very lightweight, and it floats on the winds, okay? So what had happened was, these gliders were used in World War II, and they were rather large gliders. They were used to bring some troops in, and they were used to bring ammunition in, food, supplies, and it was supposed to be used under the cover of darkness. And what had happened was these gliders would go up, and they'd be full of stuff, and there was no guns. There was no way to defend themselves. They couldn't turn. They couldn't rotate. They couldn't do a barrel roll, nothing to avoid military fire or counter arms. They would go, the plane towing them would let go, and they would glide, not knowing where they were going to land, and not knowing where they were going. This is true. You can Google it, because guess what? I did. And what these guys did, it was the biggest operation in World War II history, but yet nobody knows about it, okay? In one day, there was over 1,000 gliders. Where's Deb at? Deb, 1,000 gliders, right? The number's correct on that. 1,000 gliders that were towed up in the air to go into Germany. And there were so many gliders, they did not have enough planes for those gliders. And what had happened was they were using one plane to tow two gliders. And there was all kinds of problems. They were hitting each other, and these guys were passing away before they could even get airborne. It was unbelievable. So when they went, the operation it started out as a disaster. There was no night cover. There was no cloud cover. It ended up going in the broadcast of daylight with no cloud cover. They were sitting ducks. Over 3,000 soldiers died that day. 3 soldiers died, okay? George Hanselman was on one of those gliders. He was put on the glider with less than 5 minutes of notice. He never even met the 2 pilots that were in the glider. The glider goes over. They land in a farmer's field somewhere in Germany. They immediately start taking fire from a farmhouse that was nearby. Okay, there was 42 German soldiers were camped out in that house, and they were shooting. He opens up the glider, and he runs for the hills, because that's what he was told to do. Time goes by, more gliders start landing. The survivors started landing, and more soldiers came. And believe it or not, those 42 German soldiers surrendered to 100 and some odd glider people. I don't know the exact numbers, and I don't want to start shooting the numbers. If he was here, he would tell me about this, and he's not here. He was one of the most humble people I've ever had a conversation with about World War II, because he said, I went over there and I came back without a scratch. And he goes, I wish everybody else could have said that, because there's a lot of soldiers that went over there. 3,000 died that day, guys, okay? And he came back. And when I said we wanted to do this for him today, for what he did, because he's 100 years old this October, he turns 101, and I'm going to tell you guys what, we're going to make one kick-ass cruise for this man when he turns 101. You can bank on that, because Cox and I have already been talking about it. It's going to happen, okay? My point is this. He didn't want to be here today, and I'll tell you why. He didn't feel like he was worthy. He says, I'm not worthy of that. He goes, who is worthy for it is the people that didn't come back, and I loved him for that, okay? Just to show you how humble he is and where he came from, I'll tell you guys a real quick story. The story was this. I asked him if he was a car guy. He goes, let me tell you a story about my first car. He goes, my first car, my brother-in-law came to me, gave me 2 billy goats. He goes, you raise the billy goats, I'm keeping one, I'm you another billy goat. So he takes the billy goat, he raises the billy goat, and he trades the billy goat for a shotgun. This is 1936. He's 16 years old, 1936. Takes the billy goat, trades it for a shotgun. Turns around, trades a shotgun for a bicycle. Because a bicycle in 1936, coming out of the Great Depression, was a big deal. He turns around after he's done with the bicycle and he trades it for his first car, 1926 Ford Model T. It was his first car. At age 16 in 1936, he wasn't old enough to buy it. His brother-in-law, who gave him the billy goat to begin with, had to buy the car for him. It was crazy. The guy was telling me these stories, and he goes, you don't think about this because you guys get on the phone and some of these kids have to Google right now. How many in here is Googling freaking Model T? Some kids are even Googling what the hell's a billy goat. So I'm telling him, he's telling me the story, and I'm like, and he tells me, he goes, I'm not worthy. And I said, the hell you aren't. So then I get talking to Deb. I'm like, Dad, we got to make this happen. So we got talking, and guess what? Remember, we got the mixes up here, father, son. His son is also in the military, okay? His son is right here. We're going to honor him here where he went. There he is right there. Knowing this man for a long years, I never knew he served. Not only did he served at one of the darkest times that we've ever had to face the United States. He had to face the people of the Cold War. Not my story to tell, and we'll save that for another time because some people are already getting bored of listening to the sound of my own voice, which sucks because I love the sound of my own voice. But I'm telling you what, without further ado, I'd like to honor Mr. Hanselman for all of his service. I'm going to let him tell you guys where he served at and all of that stuff, all right? So tell him where you are, tell him who you are, where you're from, and where you served. I'll hold the mic for you because it's giving all kinds of feedback.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for honoring my dad on this occasion. I've always been proud of my dad, and after Dominic's little spiel here, I'll tell you what, I feel much more proud than I did before. Dominic, you've always done a great job. Everything he said is true. My dad has told me about his adventures, I guess you might say, in his service to our country. He's a very proud American, very proud veteran, like I am. I served over in Germany during the Cold War, 1960 to 63, during the Berlin crisis and during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm glad that war stayed cold, believe me. My dad was drafted in 1944 with 3 children and a wife. And one would think that a married man with 3 children would probably had got a pretty cushy job in the Army. My dad took the 8 weeks of training, another 18 weeks of combat training. He was sent over to England first. They crossed the channel, went to France, and on a bright sunny morning, they're standing out on a parade field. A sergeant walks up to him, started counted off 9 guys. He said, "You 9 guys just joined the airborne." So he certainly wouldn't put in any cushy job. But like Dominic said, the glider that my dad was in, they were very fortunate. They had a pretty smooth landing. I think they tore a wing off coming into the farm field and with the hedge bushes and everything. But God was close with those troops on my dad's particular glider. Like Dominic said, a lot of those gliders never made it to the ground. If they did, they came down in pieces. So I give God all the praise and glory and the honor for keeping my dad and those with him safe. I served in the, I started to mention at the beginning, I was in Germany for 3 years. I served in the heavy artillery, and I was supposed to, in my training, get heavy equipment operator. I went to the sergeant, says, "Hey, what happened with this heavy equipment operator? I want to learn how to drive bulldozers and scrapers, all that type stuff." He said, "Well, you're lucky. You got half of it. You got the heavy part." So I want to thank you again, thank Dominic and all the folks that work with him. They do a wonderful job, so thank you again.
Mr. Hansman, thank you on behalf of the LaSalle County Streetcars. Just Stacy, see. Hold on, let me get a sign. Hold on. Okay, now we're going to go here to that. can do photos all day long. Anybody else want them? No? All right.